Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Your girl here to tender. Welcome to Marvelous Encouragement. I follow the Slimming World plan to lose weight. I've lost 4 stone on Slimming World before, but as life happens, I've put on some of the weight back and I'm trying to lose it now. Actually, I'm not trying, I am losing it. I'm back on plan, and the first few days were really rough, but I think I've finally got into the swing of things. But I'm not fooled. I know that difficult times will come. I know that there will be some days that are harder than others. And that's why for this year, my motto is one day at a time. I'm just going to take it one day at a time. And I know that one day at a time, I'm going to shed the weight. As I said, I follow Slimming World. I love it most of the time. And sometimes I really, really hate it. And I will explain that. I think if you're on any plan, calorie counting, keto, Slimming World, anything, I think there are days when you just are not in the mood. And that's why we go off plan, because on those days, the diet just it's not what we want to do. So there are days when we don't want to do it. But if we can have more days where we're on a plan, even if it means we have that one day or two where we're not on plan, we should still be able to lose weight, because it's really what you do 80-90% of the time that determines what happens to your body, that determines whether you lose weight or you don't lose weight. If you watch my video that I made at the end of December, I was talking of my 2023 plans, and they didn't really include being on Slimming World. I wasn't sure at that point. In fact, I was thinking more tilting towards just eating healthy. The reason why is because every time I was on Slimming World and I fell off plan, I felt really, really bad. And I didn't want to go into 2023 knowing that there will be moments when I feel bad. But the more I thought of other plans, the more I realized that what works best for me is Slimming World. It's not that I think it's the best diet in the whole wide world. I don't, because there are things about it that I don't necessarily love. But having tried other diets, I've tried the keto diet, loved it, enjoyed it for a period of time. Then I got tired of eating all the fats, and I found it's just so socially unfriendly. I struggle to go to people's houses, and I'm a really social person. I love to be amongst people. I love to go out with my friends, and I found it difficult. And I found Slimming World was just a little bit more friendly. Now, calorie counting, I also tried that. I loved it because I learned about portion control when I did calorie counting, that yes, a big plate of pasta, even though on Slimming World may be deemed free, it's not calorie free. So too much of anything is likely going to cause a weight gain. So I really enjoyed my very short period of doing calorie counting, just for the fact that I learned to portion control. Saying that, I know what I just said about the whole free food and a whole plate. We'll come back to that. So don't panic. Don't stress. Don't stress. We'll come back to that in a bit. I also tried the Mediterranean diet. Loved it. Yeah, I would probably do that again. But I found that Slimming World had so many advantages, and I'm going to discuss that right now. So the first advantage of Slimming World, if you attend group, which I've always done but won't be this year, well, I may change my mind, but I'm not at the minute. I'm doing it online. The first advantage is the fact that you get to meet at a group and you meet like-minded people and you're encouraged by others. And when you fall, you realize you're really not alone. It happens to everyone. And sometimes that can help you to not feel like such a failure, because, you think if it happens to everyone and they all get up, so can I. And that gets you going. So it's brilliant. You get support. And if you've got a fantastic consultant, some of them are just so amazing. My last consultant, Sharon, was amazing. I then moved to a different group. I only went there 3 times. It just didn't work for me. And I think probably it contributed quite heavily to me not wanting to go to group this year. I could go back to my other old group, but I work shift patterns, and having a group just doesn't work for me because I end up going to different groups, and it doesn't have that consistency of seeing the same faces and building relationships, and yeah, wasn't working for me. Anyway, so that's number one. If you do attend group, you've got that face-to-face support. I don't attend group, but I love being on here on YouTube. I love being on Instagram because I'm building a community that way, like-minded people, you amazing lot. If you're watching me and you haven't subscribed to my channel, what's stopping you? Come on, press that subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload. And honestly speaking, don't hesitate to comment in the comment section. I love interaction. I think you guys know that by now, and I do reply to every message. I just love interacting with people who are like-minded. We're doing this together, and you don't even have to be on Slimming World. You know, I've got people on calorie counting, and actually they give me a lot of hints and tips that I love. I've got friends on keto. I've got friends on Weight Watchers. I've got friends on mindful eating. And I just think whatever plan you're doing, we can relate because at the end of the day, our goal is the same. We're trying to lose weight or we're trying to be healthier. So we have common goals to lose weight, to be healthier, to be mindful in what we eat, to feed our bodies. And yeah, so comment in the comment section. The second thing I love about Slimming World is it doesn't ask you to go hungry. It doesn't say don't eat anything. It doesn't say even eat small amounts. But what it does, it says eat lots of vegetables, eat lots of fruits. And the reason why they say that is because these are low calorie foods. So they help you to be able to eat plenty, but remain in a calorie deficit. So Slimming World kind of does calorie counting for you. Obviously, it's not exact, but the idea is, should you put third speed on your plate? So speed is all your low calorie vegetables and your low calorie fruits. Should you put that on a plate first and let that cover a third of your plate? By the time you put a third of your protein, your meat or beans, and then put a third of your carbohydrates, your potatoes, your rice, you have portion controlled the high calorie foods, and you have taken a third of that space with your big salad or lots of vegetables. So I love that idea. You don't need the scales to be able to do it. You just need to use your eyes, look on a plate, and a third. And also, if you're rubbish at maths, you can definitely do halves, quarters, and thirds. Beyond that, good luck to some of us. But I think a third is pretty simple for most people to work out. I'll show it to you on the screen anyways. So once you've done that, you are actually having a low calorie meal, ideally. And that's why they say put the speed on the plate, not a bowl of salad on the side. Because what you end up with is a plate maybe with like a half carbohydrates and half protein, or even worse, a third of protein and 2/3 of carbohydrates, and yet they're high calorie foods. So if you've done Slimming World and you're struggling to lose weight, sometimes just go back and look how much carbohydrates, how much of that free food are you having? If you're having like half a plate of free food or 3/4 of a plate of free food, it is probably because you're not actually doing the plan as it's meant to be done. For as long as you do the plan as it's meant to be done, you are likely to lose weight. By the way, I'm not a Slimming World consultant. I'm not a fitness instructor. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a dietitian. I'm sharing my experiences and I'm sharing the knowledge that I've gained from attending Slimming World as I understood it. Now, let's carry on. So, as I said, a third speed, a third protein, a third of free food. Now, Slimming World then doesn't make you feel restricted because you're having everything. You're having all the different types of food groups. Now, notice that I didn't say fat. Slimming World is a low-fat diet or lifestyle, whatever you prefer to say. It does restrict the amount of fat that you can have, but it doesn't say you can't have it at all. It says, should you have fat, use your syns to be able to measure out the fat content that you're having. And you need to choose between whether you want to add fat to your food or you want to save your syns for sauces, for chocolate, for crisps, anything like that. So it's up to you how you use your sins. So your sins are like being given a budget and you go shopping and you can only spend those 15 sins. And it's up to you what you spend your sins on. Do you spend your sins on chocolate or on crisps or on oil? It's up to you. If you choose that you want to spend it on chocolate and crisps, then what you're going to do is you're going to steam your food, boil your food, or use a 0 calorie or that 1 calorie spray to cook your food, because it is free on Slimming World. Should you choose to use, let's say, olive oil, you're probably going to use a good 4, 5, 6 sins of your sin allowance of your budget, so you won't be able to have as much as of the other things. I like spending my sins on, let's say, sauces, like ketchup or mayonnaise, or gravy if I'm having a roast. But sometimes I do like to have a little bit of chocolate too. I'm not so much of a crisp person. Once in a while I want some, but not all the time. I also have spent my sins on like yogurts that are low in sin. You also need to use a lot of your common sense with Slimming World. It is not without fault. Even they review their own plan on a regular basis. I was watching Friday Finds by Rachel. I'll put a link to her channel in the description box below. She's amazing. She does this Friday Finds and shows you all the goodies that are out there and tells you the sin value of each one. And she was sharing that like pasta sauces have greatly dropped in sin value. It can be very confusing. So learn your body, learn how your body reacts when you have certain things. So I know personally that when I have too many carbs, if I have too much pasta, too much rice, anything like that, my body will not shift the weight. That doesn't apply to everyone. So learn your body. So if you eat a lot of something on a regular basis and you're not losing weight, just because Slimming World says you can have it, it doesn't mean that you personally can have it. Maybe it doesn't agree with you. So learn your body, listen to your body. If it says, hey, I don't like cheese, just because Slimming World says you can eat cheese, it doesn't mean you've got to eat cheese. If your goal is to lose weight and you're not losing weight, sit down and review. Am I having too many sins? You're allowed 15 sins on Slimming World. That doesn't mean you have to have all 15 of them. Some bodies cannot tolerate 15 sins a day. Slimming World encourages 5 to 15. So work up that scale and see what you can get away with, or start with 15, and if you're not losing any weight, bring it down to 12 to 10 and see what works for you. I know that 15 sins for me is not going to work. I have one of those body shapes that just, I keep a lot of fat in the midsection, like I've got quite wide hips, and I gain weight on my stomach and my bum and my hips. And that kind of body, I've learned that it loves carbohydrates. The more of them I eat, the more we're just staying big. So I've had to learn to adjust. Also, junk food. Not only do I gain a lot of weight from having 15 sins, but it triggers me to want to keep eating more and more and more junk. So I try and keep it to a minimum. But that's me. I know someone who has 15 sins every day and loses weight every week and is doing great. I wish I had their metabolism, but I don't. So I'm going to work with what I have. The next thing I really like about Slimming World, it has this Hex A and Hex Bs. So the purpose of a Hex A is to get your calcium in, and the purpose of a Hex B is to get your fiber in. Now, for me, I usually have one Hex A, and that's fine. You don't have to have both, but clearly you do need to have calcium. So if you eat yogurts, you're already getting some calcium in yogurts, in your milk, in your cheese, in a lot of dairy products. Now, a Hex B is for you to get fiber. Now, to get fiber is to help your digestion, is to help you go to the toilet, okay? But if you already have lots of vegetables that are very high in fiber, that means you may not necessarily need the Hex B. So if you omit it, it's not the end of the world. I often omit it, and if you follow my what I eat in a day, sometimes it doesn't have the Hex B, and you might be wondering, why isn't she having the Hex B? It's because if you notice on the vegetables I would have had lots of leafy green vegetables that already have plenty of fiber. I also take medication that contains fiber in it. So for fiber, I am good. I'm okay. But of course, because I love my cereal and I love my bread, sometimes I will take advantage of the fact that I'm allowed a Hex B and I will have it. But I do know that I don't need it. I don't have to have it. Okay. So I like that flexibility of knowing what you're allowed to have, but it doesn't mean you're allowed to have, you have to have it. The same way you're allowed 15 syns, but you don't have to have them. You're allowed a Hex B, you don't have to have it. Okay. Now, my favorite part of Slimming World is its flexibility. As I said, I get so bored of Slimming World sometimes, and I just fancy doing a different diet. But I noticed that a Slimming World plan has 2 in 1. It's 2 diets in one. I'm sure Slimming World would call it one diet, but the SP, the Extra Easy SP plan for me is a second diet. It's only meant to be temporary, and there are people who are not encouraged to be on the SP plan, people who are diabetic and people who are pregnant, I believe. So if you have any any medical conditions, you might just want to check if this kind of diet would work for you. As I said, I'm just speaking from my experience and from the knowledge I've gained from the way I understood it. Okay. There are times when I miss a low carb diet or a keto style diet, but without the excessive fat. And I will go on the Extra Easy SP plan. The Extra Easy SP plan focuses on protein and speed. SP, speed and protein. Speed, as I said, is all your nice, low calorie veggies and fruits. And P is for protein. And for protein, you'll find protein in all sorts of meat, making sure that it's lean meat. Your 5% means beef, your lean beef, your chicken without the skin, lamb, anything you want, minus the skin, and make sure that it's lean. Other types of protein include different types of beans, and also some yogurts are protein. You'd need to check on the app or ask a friend who can check for you. So half a plate of speed, half a plate of protein, and this will speed up your weight loss. Also, if you know that you've had a couple of bad days or so, SP just helps you to get you back on track, or rather balances out the calories, if you like. It's quite low in calories. So therefore, if you've had a day or two of really high calorie meals or an off-plan meal, the SP plan can help you to just get back on track and minimize the damage, if you like. You might choose to do it for just a day. You might choose to do it for a week. It's not meant to be like a long-term plan, because it does cut out a whole section of food, in terms of your carbohydrates. When you're on the SP plan, you stick to 10 syns. So it lowers your syn value to 10. It takes out the free foods, your pasta, rice, potatoes, anything kind of carbohydrates. It takes all of that out. It also takes out your non-speed vegetables and your non-speed fruits. So sweet potatoes or a banana, that would be taken out, because those are higher in calories, and encouraging you to have sort of your leafy green vegetables and your apples and pears and easy peelers, the low calorie fruits and vegetables. So half a plate of speed, half a plate of protein. Protein helps you to feel fuller for longer. It's really good for muscle repair. So definitely you'll find that when you have enough protein, it sort of satiates you and you can last longer without needing the next meal, if you like. Okay? Now, I said before, use your common sense. Clearly, if you're allowed 10 syns to eat chocolate, to eat crisps, but you really miss a banana, yeah? If you watched my videos from last year, I really went on about this when I did the SP. If I'm allowed 10 syns, and then if I eat chocolate and crisps, I'm considered to have had an SP day. That's absolutely perfect. But if I eat a banana, then apparently I haven't made it on the SP. I found it really upsetting last year that I was doing so well and I wanted to choose a banana over a bar of chocolate. And if I stuck to strictly SP rules, I would be off the SP plan. Sometimes you need to use your common sense to just know that a banana is way healthier than a bar of chocolate. So I'm going to have this banana, and actually, if it makes Slimming World feel better, I'm going to syn it. And this is how you syn a banana. So if you measure your banana and if you weigh your banana and it's 80 grams, each syn is about 20 grams. So if it's 80 grams, that would be 20, 40, 60, 80. So count it as about 4 syns. And then you don't have to feel awful like you just fell off plan. So, as I said, sometimes I use my own common sense. Okay, so yeah, I love the SP plan. It's absolutely fantastic for when I can't shift some pounds, or if I'm feeling really bloated and I just want to eat low calorie food, because starchy foods can make me feel quite bloated as well. So it's absolutely fantastic for when you're having moments like that. Every time I've done the SP plan in the past, I've had really amazing results. I'll link one of my videos in the description box below. I lost 5.5 pounds in 1 week. In fact, I'll link 2 videos, one where I describe what the SP plan is in more detail, and one where I did an SP week and how much I lost, and actually a third video that shows you absolutely everything I ate in that week. I'll try and link them in the description box below. I really hope I remember, because I think last time I promised something and then I forgot to link it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not a professional at this. I'm just sharing with you because it helps me and I'm hoping it helps somebody. So yeah, forgive me when I mess up. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is also a little bit controversial, but you know what? I've really decided that this year I'm just going to be honest with you. I was honest with you last year, but I'm going to take it to another level. Like sometimes I'm scared to kind of share certain things because I know that is controversial and I know that not everyone will agree, but it's okay. You're following my journey. I want to be able to share my thoughts with you and maybe challenge some of your ideas as you challenge some of mine. Intermittent fasting. Yes, intermittent fasting is basically when you don't eat anything for a period of time. I said it last year, when we all fast, all of us, when we're sleeping, we're not chewing, we're not eating. So we already fast. If you sleep for 6 hours, you fast for 6 hours, minimally. If you sleep for 8 hours. If you sleep 10 hours a day, you're already fasting for 10 hours. And then depending on when you then have breakfast, you could be fasting for 12 hours, for 14 hours, for 16 hours. So don't freak out when you hear intermittent fasting because we all fast. But to take it up a level, some people will say they have an eating window of 8 hours. So they might start eating, let's say, at 10 o'clock, and then they will eat 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They'll stop eating at 6 p.m. They've done their 8-hour window. They may reduce that to 6-hour window, some to 4-hour window, some have 1 meal a day. Okay, I'm not talking about eating 1 meal a day for the rest of my life, but I do believe that intermittent fasting is a really good thing to exercise. 1, to allow your body to just rest, and 2, also to get into the discipline of eating when you're hungry, not eating because it's 8 o'clock and I'm going to eat at breakfast, but exercising, listening to your body and eating as and when you're hungry. So often I do intermittent fasting. Sometimes it's not a deliberate, I'm not going to allow myself to eat until 12 noon, but I find that I'm just not hungry until 12 noon. So if I'm not hungry, why eat? In fact, eating when I'm not hungry and eating excessively and eating the wrong things got me to the situation that I find myself in now. So what if I was to listen to my body and ate only when I'm hungry? If I was honest with myself, I don't want to starve myself. So if I'm hungry, I will eat. But if I'm not hungry, why not delay my meals? I know that when I over-delay, if I overdo it, by the time I eat, I'm going to pig out. I've had incidences where I've ended up having a massive binge, and I've shared that with you before on my channel. So I know that when my body really demands food, I should eat. But sometimes in the desperation to lose weight, we overdo it and over push ourselves to a place where you then end up binging. But actually, just to exercise the discipline of not eating until later on is good practice. If you're not starving, why eat? Also, I know that Slimming World really advocates for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. That's can be a lot of eating that is necessary for some and not necessary for others. But I find that sometimes when I record my what I eat in a days, if I just record, like, let's say lunch and dinner, I'm actually conscious of the fact that people might think I'm not eating enough. But what if I just wasn't that hungry on that day? And then I end up, adding a yogurt and some more fruits at night just to show you that, just to show to you guys that I am eating. I think in this year, I just want to be authentic enough to share with you. Like, if I have a day where I just feel like eating 2 meals and I do intermittent fasting, whether it's a deliberate one or whether it's one where I just listened to my body and didn't eat until I was hungry. But as a Christian, I already fast. And when I do those kind of spiritual fasts, even if I am hungry, I still don't eat because I'm exercising a discipline. Now, I've always done my weight loss journey using motivation. I've wanted to feel motivated. But there are times when I've come to the realization that when motivation isn't there, if I was disciplined, I would still be able to carry on. So I want to be able to exercise discipline in order to win this journey and sustain and keep my weight loss rather than just depending on feeling motivated. Because trust me, sometimes when I listen to my feelings, I end up eating a tub of ice cream. I've been an emotional eater for so long, and when I listen to my emotions, things don't always go well. But how I wish I just had like a discipline. Those people who just, let's say, wake up at 5 in the morning, they go for a run, they come back, they have a shower, then they meditate, then they do this, then they pray, then whatever it is that they do. I know that I would really love to be a more disciplined person in this year. So help me God. Yeah, because I run on motivation. And when my motivation is down, that's me done. And yeah, things go badly. But I love feeling motivated. It's the best feeling in the world. Like right now, I am so motivated. I'm like, I can do this. And it feels good. But I pray that on the days I just can't find the motivation, discipline will keep me going. So one thing I did this morning, I really want to share it with you because I'm feeling really good today, to be honest. I'm feeling fantastic. And I think it's because I did this exercise this morning. This morning when I woke up, I really felt fat. I don't want to lie. I woke up and I was feeling like fat and I didn't want to go out. And I realized actually, yeah, I don't enjoy going out when I don't feel good and confident in my body. And I stood in the mirror and I was looking at myself in the mirror and I apologized to my body. I apologized to my body for the way I've mistreated it in the last 2 months. I apologized to my body for feeding it what it didn't need. I apologized to my body for abusing it. I also thanked my body for looking after me, for carrying me to where it carries me, for functioning the way it functions. And I made a vow that I would help my body to run more efficiently. And I feel like because I made up with my body, it might sound ridiculous, but I feel like I made up with my body and it really restored my joy and my confidence. And as much as like I'm not loving the size I am right now, I feel good. I'm happy. I feel like my body's forgiven me, so we're gonna live in this body for now, and together we're gonna work to get to the size that we want, that we are both happy with. I mean, it sounds weird that I'm separating myself with my body, but I'm body, mind, and spirit, and a lot of my problems are up here. It's in the mind. It's the mindset. It's the I feel. So because I feel, I'm gonna eat. But then when I eat, I feel like I'm then abusing my body. yeah, that's just how I feel. So I was kind enough to myself this morning to forgive myself. So I apologized to my body, I forgave myself, and I just feel a lot more in sync with myself. Like me, my body, and my spirit are together. I just feel more together. And I decided to put my makeup on, and I got my hair done yesterday. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to feel good and I'm going to love myself in the body that I'm in now. But I'm going to take responsibility for what I did and I'm going to put it right. So, that might be a little bit too deep for some people, but that's the little exercise that I did this morning. And if you'd love to do the same exercise, speak to your body, apologize to your body, make amends with it, and then cherish it as it is right now, because it's still keeping you, it's still what's taking you around. Then do the best that you can to help it out. Yeah, to help yourself out. Well, you are your body, you are your mind, you are your spirit. So just do what you can, so that you're working together, so that you're not feeling terrible. Take away the feeling of feeling awful that you gained weight over Christmas, you don't look how you wanted to look. And just be in sync with yourself. Just be like, you know what, we're a team, we're going to do this together. Since getting back on track, I feel so much more in control. I feel happier. I feel good that I'm doing good things, that I'm looking after myself, that I'm eating well. Exercise is still outstanding. I need to do that. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. It will be done. This year, I'm going to take it one day at a time. And one day at a time, I'm going to lose this weight as I gain the discipline so that when I don't have motivation, discipline takes over. But in this year, I am going to reach my target weight, and so are you. And if you're already a target, you're going to maintain it. If you haven't even started, go for it. Start. Yeah? Start. Even in the first week or two, it goes in the wrong direction. It's a learning curve. It's okay. Remember, I said to you, you can be spot on Slimming World, but be having too many sins or too much free food. Just give yourself a couple of weeks to work it all out. So don't be too quick to quit and tell yourself it's not working. It works. It just means that you haven't got it right yet. So, as I said before, hit the subscribe button and the like button. And also, share this video with a friend if you think that they just need some encouragement. Share this video with a friend. And yeah, sharing is caring. So feel free to do that. Comment in the comment section below. Until next time, you take care and God bless.